Guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. It's pretty noisy this morning. Every morning is. We have a bunch of chickens, so they're doing their thing, so just bear with me on that. So over the weekend, I did get quite a bit of this work done. I got pretty much all of this main walkway created. I got the retaining wall built right here with the cinder blocks. I filled them back in with dirt. I put stakes down in to help cement them sort of in. Obviously they're not cemented, they're just mudded in, but the clay, if it ever dries up, it should kind of anchor it in somewhat. So I actually used the clay as if it was like mortar, and I sort of like tuck pointed it in between the blocks. I got them as close as I could, then I tuck pointed and shoved as much mud down in there as possible to try to sort of give it strength. I've never built a retaining wall, so I really don't know if I did it right or not, but so far so good. It's held up throughout all the rain that we had over the weekend, so that's been nice. I did also get a good bit of this dug out. I put in 2 drains to go across the walkway here. The top drain up here, but you guys probably can't see it. It is basically just an overflow drain. I had realized with the pond that I had dug out last year in the front yard that even though it's a 4-inch pipe, and the majority of the time it's perfectly fine, it's got enough output that it can do to, compensate for all of the water. I don't know what words to use for this phrasing, but it is what it is. Even though it is big enough to do the job as needed, there's been times that we've gotten so much more water this year than last year that the pond has still tried to overflow even with that fully open and stuff. So I wanted to create a backup because I know that this spring is perpetually wet. Words are hard this morning. But so I know this spring is pretty much wet all the time. It's always flowing water. It's always damp over here, muddy and soupy. So I'm assuming that this spring here is going to have a similar amount of output as the main one that we have the different ponds and stuff dug through. So I tried to make sure that essentially if this is a super productive spring, then I have backups in place so that way we're not really worrying about water flooding over top of this walkway here, because that's kind of the goal of doing this project, is to try to get rid of some of this crazy amounts of mud, because most of the year we can't push a wheelbarrow through here, we can't ride the mower through here, we can't haul stuff through here. It's very difficult to have to basically carry everything on your back to get back and forth to the barn, especially when you got to get feed and hay, and it's a lot. There's no question, no wondering as to why my back hurts all the time, besides arthritis and other issues, but still, it's been a lot. So this year I've been trying to really figure out what doesn't work on this homestead and really try to correct things, because I don't want to go, it's very taxing on my body to walk through, 100 something feet of mud, very thick mud year round. It goes from being frozen ice path to mud path, and that's not really ideal. So trying to mitigate that, trying to fix that, and eventually, probably this week, I'm going to work on trying to dig out this whole island area. It is kind of neat to brag and say that we have our own private island, but this is not an ideal setup, but it is what it is. So today, actually, after doing the morning chores, I came out and realized that all of this area down in here was flooded severely, and it actually is putting a strain on the fruit tree that I have over here. So it's starting to lose leaves, I think because of how wet it is all the time, which is part of why I did this. So yeah, after doing morning chores, I came out with a shovel and dug a nice sized trench that goes all the way to the other side of the fence there. That eventually I'm going to, after I come back home today, I'm going to end up digging it deeper and going further with it to then take it all the way off of the property. So yeah, it's been a lot of dirt work that I've been doing the last several days. It's been a lot of very heavy lifting, lots of bending, lots of difficult jobs, but this is going to potentially make it way better here. Fingers crossed. So I did only mound up the one side of the ditch here in hopes that some of the excess water that comes from the slight uphill to get to the barn, in hopes that some of that will fall into here and just sort of be taken away off of the property. Eventually that'll all go down to the ditch by the road. But yeah, it's hard. This property is very complicated because of having so many springs and having such a water issue that it honestly feels like this land is trying to be reverted back to being like what it originally would have been, which was like wetlands and stuff. Water just keeps coming up. Like it's very confusing. A lot of properties you can just go, okay, the water comes from this place or that place and it runs down. But here it's like there's all these seeps and springs that keep opening up this year. So I'm not sure what's caused the change. I don't know if it's that, our ducks and geese running around have caused a change, but this is spring/summer number 3 for us on this property, and it's never been this wet. And we haven't had like an extreme amounts of rain or anything of the sort like that. It's just been wild, to say the least. It's been wild. So anyways, that's it for today. I've got a lot of things to do today. I'm gonna actually go to Tracy's grandma's house, do some weed eating today, maybe do some chainsawing out there, and then when I come home, I'm gonna try to move this fence because we have 10 feet wider than it needs to be right now. The ducks and geese are never locked up in this paddock. It's just leftovers from when we did have them locked up and from when this used to be Burr and Ferdy's old area. So we're just trying to basically make this place more efficient this year. That's kind of the name of the game. So we're looking at everything that we're doing this year and trying to figure out how to make it so it's more energy efficient, more money efficient, more time efficient to keep going. Basically is what it is, because this is something we're very passionate about doing, of raising our own food and doing all this. But if you guys have been around for any length of time, you know that this homestead has been incredibly difficult to build out, to establish, and to figure out ways to make it work. So that's kind of the name of the game this year, is just figuring out how to make it work better, because right now everything is going, it's functioning, we're to the maintaining and making better stages instead of just trying to survive. But yeah, we got to tweak things. Got to tweak a lot of things. But in saying that, yesterday I did actually get 4 duck hens butchered. So now we're down to having only 6 ducks, whereas a couple months ago we had 13 ducks. So definitely cut that down significantly. So that'll help with having too many eggs and not being able to find buyers. It'll also help too with the noise level, with the feed bill, with, millions of other things. It's not efficient to have too many animals on a homestead, especially if you have a small amount of acres. So it is what it is. We'll just keep doing the best that we can, trying to figure things out and moving forward. So anyways, that's it for today. I've got to actually get ready to go so that way I can get some things done and get more sweaty. So thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.